Punnett square practice. We open that, obviously. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to learn how to set up a Punnett square, fill it out, and then analyze it. So our example together in a second is going to be about flower color. In every example that I give you on this worksheet, I write down the genes on the side. The parents in the first 5 questions are written down for you, but in the 6 through 10, they are not written down. So maybe we'll go through number 6 together also. All right, so what I do is I take a look at what the parents are. And a Punnett square from your notes is how you predict their offspring. So that's what we're working on doing, is predicting the offsprings, like phenotypes and genotypes. Genetic counselors can use these, or Punnett squares, and obviously more in-depth things to figure out if like a trait or a disease can get passed on to their kids. So the parents are homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive. So like I said, this is a drawing. Just double click on it. Ms. Turner added the text boxes, excuse me, but you might need to add them if they went away. And you just put one parent's alleles, so their letters, on the top of the box, and the other parent alleles on the side of the box. It does not matter what order. It doesn't matter if it's the male or the female, where they are placed, as long as you keep the letters together, like both go on the top or both go on the side. So because it was 2 sets of homozygous, so 2 of the same, I'm going to put the 2 capital R's on the top. Like I said, it doesn't matter, but that's just how my brain works. And then I'm putting the 2 lowercase letters on the side. If your computer automates it to an uppercase letter, just push backspace and it'll go back to being lowercase. So like I said here, if you put the 2 uppercase R's on the side, that's still correct. I wouldn't mark that wrong. So then I think of it just like as a little puzzle, kind of, that you just take this uppercase R and you bring it down to the squares below it. So whatever is in this upper box just gets dropped down to the 2 below. And we want, one rule is that we always want to write the dominant or the uppercase trait first. So that's why I start with the uppercase letters. I brought this uppercase R down to the boxes below. We're going to do the same to the second one. And then these ones on the side do kind of the same thing, where they're getting drawn across. So this little r, lowercase r, goes in this box and this box. So the top row pretty much gets little r's. And like I said, we want to keep the uppercase R first. So we just write it right next to it, so that it gets 2 alleles put together. And then this lowercase r is on the bottom half of the box, so it goes on the bottom row. So in the yellow, sorry, in the yellow highlighted squares, you want 2 letters in every single box. Because we can think of the 2 uppercase R's as, let's say, dad or male, and the 2 R's on the side, lowercase r's, we can think of it as the female. And so these would be their offspring. So when you're done, just save and close so that it stays there. And then we write down all the possible genotypes that their offspring could be. And genotypes are the letters. Remember that code, like I said. So every single box in here is the same, and there's only one option that their children could get. It's uppercase R, lowercase r, or heterozygous. The ratio, like I said, or the number of their offspring, or their percentage, would be 4 out of 4 or 100%. You can write either one. You can write both and you don't have to capitalize, or I'm just telling you it's an option. And then for phenotypes is where we have to like break the code or crack the code. So what does this R mean? If we have one uppercase R or two uppercase R's, what color is the flower going to be? Red, because it's dominant. So even if there's one little R next to the uppercase R, it's going to like default to the dominant gene. So all of your flower options are going to be red. And then in this example, it's the same, 4 out of 4. In other examples, it might be different. So we'll do at least one more, probably 2 more together. And if you like get it, you can like go ahead, but I'm still going to go through it for everybody else. So we'll scroll down to 6. It looks like a lot of work, but it's really not. All right, so it's more of like I'm asking you to know the terms. So I don't give you the parents this time, so we're going to figure it out. So a cleft chin is dominant to no cleft chin. I have that right here, so I always tell you which one's dominant and recessive. And we're going to figure out the genotype and phenotype ratios for a heterozygous female. So what kind of letters does the female have? What kind of combination of letters if it's heterozygous? Uppercase and lowercase, yeah. So one of each. So heterozygous, remember, just means one of each. Think of it as like hybrid. So the mom would be uppercase A, lowercase a. And then it's the same word. So heterozygous male. So what letters does the male get? Uppercase A and there you go. Okay. So then we put those on the side. It's both like it's the same thing. So you double click on your Punnett square. Grab a text box. Uppercase. I just put a bunch of spaces. Uppercase. Lowercase. All right, so then I always start at the top. It's just how my mind works. If you want to start with the sides and bring them across, you can. I just work this way. So I take the uppercase A first, and I'm going to drop it down to the 2 below. And then my mind reads from left to right like a book. So then I take this little a, and I'm going to put it over here and over here as it gets dropped down. So you can see where it goes. Then our uppercase A from the left goes all the way to the right. So in every square on the top row. So this A, this tall A gets matched with another tall A. And then the little a gets matched with the uppercase A. And then I take my lowercase or my small a and I drop it or bring it across the row on the bottom. So remember, everything needs a pair. So the uppercase A gets a lowercase a, and this lowercase gets a buddy. So it should end up looking, whoop, not like that, like that. All right, now we have a lot more options in our square, in the yellow part of our squares. We have 2 uppercase A's, so that's one genotype that you could have for an offspring. We have an uppercase and a lowercase. It is in 2 boxes, but you don't need to write it out twice because that would just be like saying the, or like 2 words together. I don't need it twice. Come, Jamie. And then our last option is 2 little a's, 2 lowercase a's. You have lunch right now? All right, so what is our ratio? How many squares have 2 uppercase A's in one box? Yeah, one box has 2 uppercase A's. So your genotype ratio, you could say, I would just label it. So AA, 1 out of 4, 25%. You're not eat. And then our other option, like I said, is an uppercase, lowercase. How many squares have one of each in one square? Yeah, 2. Yeah, look at you all. And you have a question? Okay, I was like, you gave me the right answer, but then you moved. So 2 out of 4 is 50%. I think of quarters. And then, see, like this, it just did that. So you just go undo, and then it'll still stay the same. So out of the 4 boxes, we already have 3 accounted for. There's only 1 box left. So the little a's, if you didn't already know, has to be 1 out of. All right, so now for our phenotype, we're going to need to remind ourselves what the uppercase and lowercase stand for. So if you have any kind of uppercase A, it means that they have a cleft chin, and then 2 small a's is how you get no cleft chin. So we have all of those options right here. We have uppercase a's together, 1 of each, and then 2 little ones together would give us the recessive gene. So that's a rule. You have to have 2 lowercase letters to get the recessive gene to show up. 1 from each parent. So we do have both phenotypes. So cleft chin. And then this half gives us which phenotype? Cleft or no cleft? Remote, what do you think? If it has an uppercase. Awesome. So if you add 50 plus 25, you get 75% is a cleft chin. What is that? 3 out of 4 or 75%. And then just whatever is left is usually always the last one. We'll do number 2, dimples, because that's different. All right, so if you want to go through this one with me, you can. This one, the parents are given to us. I'm on number 2. So I'm just going to put this one, the first one I put on the top, and then the second one I put on the side. Like I said, it doesn't matter. So the first one was heterozygous, 1 of each. You got uppercase, lowercase, lowercase, lowercase. Like I said, if it automates it, just push backspace and it'll go away. So per usual, how I start is I read the top row first. So I bring the capital letter down. And then I move on to the lowercase on this side and I bring it down. And this lowercase is going to go across all rows on the top. And this lowercase letter D goes to all the ones on the bottom, all the rows on the bottom. All right, so genotypes is like the code, just the options in the box. So having an uppercase and a lowercase. How many squares have 1 of each in a box if you're working with me? An uppercase and a lowercase in one square. How many squares? You're right. So there's 2 because right here, you can see that there's an uppercase, lowercase together, uppercase, lowercase together. You're always looking at the pairs. 2 out of 4, 50%. The other option is homozygous recessive, 2 of the same. Oops, gotta undo that. There we go. And there's 2 squares left. Oh, why did I do that? Sorry, guys. I wrote it in the wrong box, but we got it together. That's why you were all looking at me funny. I just skipped it. There we go. There. I was like, why are you confused? All right, so phenotypes. We have a heterozygous. What does that mean? Does it mean dimples or no dimples? If we have at least one uppercase, it gives you, if you have one uppercase, it gives you dimples. So we got it together. I just don't know where remote's at. And then, like I said, for recessive, it has to have a buddy. It has to have 2, one from mom, one from dad in order to show up. So there are some with no dimples because it has a buddy. It has 2 together. So it has both options. Their offspring could have both. And again, it's 50-50. So I just went through how we figured it out. So there's 2 boxes that would give no dimples and then 2 boxes that would have dimples. So the percent chance of your kid having dimples is 50-50.